Hey Pisces, welcome to your full moon intuitive reading. My name is Dee. Welcome to CatalystEnergies. I'm so grateful that you're here. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. This is an intuitive report with a little bit of astrology for the full moon that's happening February 8th, 2020. That is in opposition with the sun in Aquarius to a moon in Leo. And Pisces, I'm going to tell you what, this reading has been the most elusive one out of all of them, I think, so far. So we're just gonna roll with it and see what comes up. And I have a feeling that some of this stuff might make more sense to somebody or groups of you on a personal level than I can really intuit right now. But first, we'll talk about the astrology for Pisces. So you have a 6th and 12th house opposition. So you have the sun in Aquarius in your 12th house, and the moon is going to be full in your 6th house. So Pisces, 6th house is the work. When we talk about, are you doing the work? That is the 6th house. The 6th house represents the work. And it is work. It is absolutely something that happens in real time in a material way. And it's about cultivating inner mastery. It's about cultivating the fruits that you will bear as part of your offering to the collective you're part of. It is about going within and about the daily activities that you actually do, making sure that everything is placed where it needs to be in order to be organized and efficient, in order to be a master of yourself. And so for Pisces, this is so fascinating because the work for Pisces is to shine their light, and shine, and to be confident and royal in a very material way. The work is not fancy, right? It doesn't get you a lot of attention. The work is not something that you're doing, that you're constantly putting out on social media. The work is what you're doing every day to create the reality and manifest the reality that you know is the highest expression of yourself. So for Pisces, the work has to do with cultivating being playful, and by being romantic and innocent and to be fully expressive. It is about opening your heart, really, Pisces. The work for Pisces is opening your heart. And it doesn't seem like it'd be difficult for Pisces, obviously, because you, in essence, are somebody that is very tapped into compassion, love. Everything is all one and the same, you know, that it's very much about spiritual union and the love of, you know, the love of yourself translating to the love of others. Absolutely. So it doesn't, but it's interesting because the work comes from not showing that necessarily in a larger context, but the work is personal, individual expression with Leo. It is about showing your heart, opening your heart as a person. So that's why with Leo, it tends to be very much about being at the center of the stage, center of attention. It's about you being the star of the show, because the sun is the star of our show in the solar system. It provides everything. And so this degree that the full moon is happening is for worshiping the sun and worshiping what it provides. And so the work for Pisces is to be able to share and express themselves fully, and not with and to align with their own sovereignty and their own royalty. That's the work for Pisces, right? Now, how Pisces come to the 12th house, which is the inner experience, right? It's not the work of mastering that. It is just merging with that. It's the understanding of that. It's the realm where the inspiration comes from. It is the realm of dreams. It is the realm of psychic information. It is the realm that is, you know, boundaryless, everything and nothing all at the same time. And so for Pisces, it's very much in the knowing of this, because you yourself are able to, you know, transcend those boundaries as a person. The potential of you as a person is this very caring, loving, compassionate, divine person as a potential for your personality. And so when it comes to the 12th house, it is a very keen, futuristic knowing, like it is a perspective beyond here as an Aquarius signature. So the moon is bringing up for Pisces where the work is. expressing yourself, being okay with expressing yourself. You are a sun within yourself. And as we look at the cards, they're very, the message is coming through a little bit clearer, but we also should look at, so Mercury's in your first house. Neptune's been in your first house. Your ruler has been in your first house for a while and will continue to be so. So there's no shortage of, getting constantly activated around who you are as this Pisces, formless, dream-oriented spiritual being, who you are. Now, Mercury's coming here in retrograde, right? And so the messages are going to get louder, maybe a little bit more confusing about who you are. And now that Venus is here in your second house of Aries, where Chiron is going to be until 2026 and continues to be, this collective original wounding that we're all feeling in terms of who we are, like the potential for who we are, is in your second house of your resources, what surrounds you. So Pisces, what surrounds you? What do you have at your disposal? What's the environment? You're in an environment of pure potential, pure creative potential, but there's a wounding about that, and there's a wounding about your ability to access it and to acknowledge that you have that, because again, you're a Pisces. You want your personality, the essence of who you are as a person, just melts with everything else. And so you have to come to a point to even accept that the world around you is pure potential. You have to leave that cycle and start to differentiate that there is a separation at all. And I think this is very difficult for Pisces, in that it's no accident that Chiron for Pisces is moving through this very material house, because in order to really fully actualize yourself, you have to identify with all of the cusps of your houses in a way that makes sense, and that a way is fully full. It's full and it's activated, and you're not like resisting anything, or anything is going too, wildly out of balance. And so now that Venus has moved into the second house in Aries for Pisces, you are certainly giving an opportunity now to give it voice, to create something, to manifest something constructive, that's healing, that's beautiful, that just wants to be acknowledged. And Venus is not only going to acknowledge this wound, she wants to do something about it. She's like, oh, look at all the potential that we have to create from this. And this is what Pisces has at their disposal. This is what they're surrounded by, is this potential. And so Venus is going to make it very real and a very, like I said, creative potential here to manifest something constructive. Now, the card reading is interesting. I think that Pisces, we have the Six of Swords, but it's reversed. And so this is an Aquarian card too, the Six of Swords. It's the idea that you find the mental balance after the defeat. And so you can see on here that these two figures, backs are turned to us, and they're going over the water. This seems to really connect to your 12th house being Aquarian, and the 12th house being the water, the ocean. You're in a position right now where you're moving across the water. You're using the mind to really connect with who you are in a very deep spiritual sense, and your connection to everything else spiritual as well. But I think that the reason that it's reversed, although that this is very balanced and that you see that you're going somewhere, again, the work is to find full expression, is to open your heart and be the sun. Now, this is interesting to me. The Buddha prepares. You can see right here the light in the Buddha's heart. And this is a card of stillness. This is a card of cultivating the Buddhahood within all of us in order to eventually come out into the community. So it's not just the Buddha, but it's the whole community that he's a part of. Everybody kind of preparing themselves within. And the sun has been really putting a lot of attention here for you, Pisces, in this realm. Preparing yourself, seeing who you are as a person, being very Buddha-like, and not even Buddha-like, but eventually to break out into this really innovative and futuristic perspective when it comes to the way you connect to the divine and your spiritual essence. But there's this preparation, and there's this stillness. I keep thinking that there's a disappointment mentally going on here for Pisces, and that you do understand that there's a possibility. You do understand that you're moving away from it and you're kind of getting your mind around it and balanced about it, but it's not quite there. There's some resistance here. And so this energy of preparing, I think that with the Mercury coming into Pisces now and then going retrograde, is really pulling you into a deep place within, to be still and to really assess who you are and to prepare yourself as a person in order to go out into the world. Part of that too is, so we have the cat, it's time to strike out on your own and relinquish overdependency. Again, I think it's, it's time to pull away from the group in some ways in order to cultivate not only your inner power, which is and the work, right? The work is not glamorous. Like I said, it's what you do every day. It's not for the benefit of others. It's for the benefit of you. And you really have to cultivate your own inner sovereignty. Cats are very royal and sovereign in the wild. And so domestic cats are like that too. They kind of have their own thing going on. They don't really need a whole group. And I think Pisces really need to start bringing it in and being willing to focus their emotional, spiritual energy on cultivating themselves, preparing the Buddha within right now. Because how you've been trying to do it within your mind has not really been working. I think you see that you have a sense of it and you know where you're going mentally, but again, I think that the journey across the water is really about the journey cultivating yourself from within. And then we have the manatee. Accept the situation as it is rather than fighting to change it. This again has a lot to do with like moving in the flow of water, being calm, being collected, accepting, surrendering in some ways to what is rather than constantly trying to change it. And I think there's been some resistance. Mentally, there's been a lack of acceptance. You do know what you need to do and where you need to travel and that you need to like mentally go to a different place. You do know that and it is happening, but I just don't think you're very happy about it. But I think the best thing to do is to pull it in, right? Pull it in, focus less on, and Capricorn's your 11th house. That is your social networks. My God, you've certainly been feeling an overhaul when it comes to your friend groups, your networks, organizations, the collective you're part of. It's just like totally getting an overhaul in Capricorn, and so much energy there that's about materialism and creating something of a structure that I think that's been really, your attention's been really focused there. So Pisces, bring it back in with this full moon. The work is finding your own inner power, absolutely. And so bringing it in to yourself, who you are, the messages that you're getting, the spiritual essence of who you are, really. And surrender to what's happened. I think that you can't change it. You just have to surrender to it, which is a very Pisces thing. So again, tapping into that aspect of yourself is really going to help Pisces right now to take full advantage of this full moon and doing the work to cultivate real sovereignty and true self-expression, Pisces. And then I think that you'll really start to understand a little bit more about this wound with Chiron and Aries in your second house. It's time to surrender. It's time to pull in and work on yourself, Pisces, absolutely. And know that you are royal and sovereign, and that is the work. And it's not glamorous. You don't get to put it out there for everybody else. It's about doing it for yourself and to be a true master for everybody else eventually. But you have to master yourself and you have to do the work. And sometimes that means positive affirmations. You know what I mean? It means doing the meditations every day because you value yourself, and that's the work of becoming truly sovereign. Pisces, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you got something useful out of this reading. Description box below is where all the details are. Facebook is the hub for CatalystEnergies right now, so you can book readings, you can reach out, and all of the different offerings that I have, I post on different platforms, and Facebook tells you when and where those things are posted, so you can access as much of this information as you want, and I'm happy to offer it as my service. So The best way to know what's going on in these astrological transits, though, honestly, is to get a personalized reading with somebody, because everybody's chart is like a foot or a fingerprint. It's completely unique, and so these are all generalized readings, obviously, but to get the most accurate and personalized attention, you just have to book a reading. So thanks, Pisces. I'll see you on the next video. Have a just a wonderfully nurturing and fulfilling full moon.